Coming up, we're going to talk about one of the hottest teams in the NBA not named the Oklahoma City Thunder. Speaking of Enfuego, I'm going to put you up on another team in the league that's been on a crazy run as well that you aren't paying enough attention to. I'm also going to tell you the thing that's bummed me out the most in the early parts of this NBA season. Plus, we got all the games you need to tap into on streaming, League Pass, and TV. So call the family, gather around, and let's all give thanks for this week in the NBA. It's time. It's time. Let's get it.
I am working. I got no time to take calls. If you open the oven door too soon, then the cake falls. One thing is for sure, two things is for certain. You can't rush perfection or put your faith in no person. I am working.
What up, though? Shout out to the Detroit native and the homie Marv One for providing the soundtrack to one of the best stories of this young NBA season.
Detroit basketball!
The Detroit Pistons have the best record in the Eastern Conference, powered by a franchise-tying 13-game winning streak. More on that later. They're led by former number 1 overall pick Cade Cunningham, who has improved upon his breakout season from last year, pacing the team with 28, 9, and 6 a game. But he's not going at it alone. He's had help from a diverse cast on the scoring front, with 5 others averaging in double figures. But the guy who's taken a major leap has been fourth-year big Jalen Duren. He's increased his scoring by 8 points from last year. I mean, look at my man getting mixy right here. This part of his game where he's been able to take people off the dribble has made him super dangerous because of his impressive ability to finish around the basket. If he can keep up this pace, he's in line to make his first All-Star appearance. And for my money, this is the guy who should be starting at the 5 for the U.S. men's Olympic team in 2028. Oh, and that win streak I mentioned earlier, it's kind of crazy to think that we're only 2 years removed from hearing these chants from inside Little Caesars Arena during their infamous 28-game losing streak.
Will prove to be a bit of a silver lining for the Pistons. The 117.
To see the turnaround that this team has made from cellar dweller to one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference is nothing short of remarkable. The other part about that win streak is that it tied the record with teams from 1990 and 2004. Now, if you know your history of
Detroit basketball!
You'll know that those seasons ended with the Pistons winning the title. Could history be repeating itself in Detroit? Only time will tell. But what I do know is that this is one of the best teams in the NBA, and they are must-see TV. Now, let's take a trip and visit our neighbors up north in Canada, where the Toronto Raptors have been on a great run over the past 2 weeks. The Raptors just completed a 9-game winning streak, which propelled them to second in the Eastern Conference. What's dope about their 14-6 record thus far is that it has been over 2 years since the Raptors have been at least 2 games over 500. Part of what's fueled this run is a balanced scoring attack led by their big 3, or should I say, Le Grand Trois. Brandon Ingram leads them in scoring with 21.9 a game. Scotty Barnes is right behind him at 20 even, and RJ Barrett is third with 19.4 points a game. But these guys aren't just scorers. They also know how to share the rock, with each of those 3 averaging nearly 4 assists a game. That sharing of the rock doesn't just stop at those 3, as the Raptors are second in the league in assists with 30.3 a game. But they're not just all scoring. They also can defend as well. They're 4th in the league in defensive rating and are only one of 4 teams to be top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating. Who don't know, this is the theme song to a show called MASH. Now, MASH was about a mobile army unit during the Korean War. And let me take you on a little back in my day journey. So back in my day, when MASH came on, it was normally after the news, and then you had MASH, and after that you had the American anthem, and then there was no more TV. No, nothing. That was it. It was time to go to bed. There was nothing else to watch. But I digress. But this theme song could also serve as a soundtrack to the start of an NBA season that saw LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, DeJounte Murray, Jason Tatum, and De'Aaron Fox, just to name a few, start the season on the injured list. But since the season has kicked off, at certain points we've lost Zion, Wemby, Steph Castle, Giannis, Trae Young, Steph Curry, all to injury. There's been lots of theories about what's causing this injury epidemic, whether it's the schedule, pace of play, or having to defend more of the court due to the proliferation of the three-point shot. My 2 cents? These injuries are occurring due to the specialization of sports. Kids these days only play one sport and they play it year-round. This is leading to players' bodies breaking down at a more alarming and increasing rate. Now, this isn't some new phenomenon on my part. Baxter Holmes of ESPN did a story back in 2019 that talked about this very thing. And there's an even older quote in there from Adam Silver talking about young players suffering injuries at a younger age. It says, quote, "What our orthopedics are telling us is that we're seeing wear and tear issues in young players that they didn't used to see until players were much older," end quote. There was also a study that was done that followed Chicago kids with an average age of 13 for up to 3 years. There were two groups, kids who specialized in one sport and kids who played multiple sports. At the end of that study, what they found is that kids who played one sport or specialized in one sport put themselves at increased risk of overuse injuries. How high? 125% more likely. That's how high. My advice to you young players, when the offseason hits, make it a real offseason. Take some time off, allow your body to rest and recover. If you're going to go outside and play an activity or play another sport in another season, make sure it's something other than basketball. I understand it. You got trainers, you're trying to make it to the D1, you're trying to make it to the next level. But if you are talented, you will get there. Allow your body to recover. Play something else. That could be the difference between a 5-year career and a 15-year career. All right, let's get into these games of the week. First up, Suns versus Lakers, Monday night, 9 p.m. on Peacock. Not much was expected of the Suns after they traded away Kevin Durant to the Rockets, but as of right now, they're 6th place in a packed Western Conference. As for the Lakers, LeBron was supposed to be watching how the team performed while he was recovering from his sciatica, and he had to have liked what he's seen from Luka and AR. But for a guy that's been in the spotlight for so long, is he going to be able to share more of that spotlight with those two and take a back seat? That's a story that we're going to watch in this game and going forward. All right, the TV game of the week. We got Knicks versus Celtics, 7 p.m. Tuesday on NBC. Y'all remember that graph I showed you of the top 10 teams in offensive and defensive rating? Well, the Knicks are 3rd and the Celtics are 5th. But defensively, Knicks are 15th and Celtics are 16th. Now, what does that mean for us? That means we should see a very entertaining, high-scoring game with bouts of defense here and there. So get your popcorn and tune in. Finally, the League Pass game of the week, Timberwolves versus Pelicans, 7 p.m. Thursday night. As for the Pelicans, well, the Pels be the Pels. They stink again. But there is some reason for optimism with some of the young guns they got, namely Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. So tune in to see what those young boys do against the Ant-Man. All right, that's time. But before y'all hit the exits, make sure y'all jump in the comments. Tell me what's the best thing you saw in the NBA, what games you're looking forward to, what players you're excited to see. Also, subscribe, hit the like, and the notification bell so you can tap in and know more about this week in NBA. Y'all be easy. Peace.